On the 31st floor of Sunshine 60, inside a law office, everything is exactly as it should be. Stacks of paper, fluorescent light, the sound of keyboards. Someone answers a call. Hi. Someone else across the room. Hi. Two co-workers sit close to each other. Same desk they sat at for years. Normal Tuesday. One of them stands up. He moves around behind the other man's chair. And then he pulls out a knife and stabs him in the neck. The keyboards stop. Someone screams. Blood is on the floor. The office, 30 seconds ago a completely normal place, is now a horror scene. The building is called Sunshine 60, a landmark in Ikebukuro, a 60-story tower of glass and steel that has watched over the east side of the city since 1978. On the 31st floor, behind glass doors, sits the Ikebukuro branch of Odaya Law Office, one of the largest consumer law firms in Japan. 235 attorneys, 65 offices across the country. The kind of place that runs commercials. The kind of place that looks from the outside like it has everything figured out. That morning, a 50-year-old employee named Watanabe Reto arrived for work like any other day. He sat at his desk. He had a backpack with him. Inside that backpack were 3 knives. He had brought them from home. His co-worker, Yoshino Hiroki, in his 30s, was sitting nearby. At 11:45 am, Watanabe stood up, moved behind Yoshino and stabbed him in the neck. Not once, multiple times. Yoshino was transported to the hospital, unconscious. He was pronounced dead shortly after. Watanabe did not run. He walked out of the office, still carrying the knife, made his way to the police box outside Ikebukuro Station's east exit, one of the most busiest corners in the city, and turned himself in. When police interviewed him, Watanabe said this: "I held a grudge against Yoshino. I reached my limit. I wanted to cause him pain. I thought it was okay if he died, so I stabbed him. I reached my limit." Those 4 words are the whole story. Not the knives, not the day, not the office on the 31st floor. The story is what happened in the time before that moment. The months, maybe years, of something building, silently, invisibly, inside a man sitting at a desk in one of the most orderly, disciplined work cultures on the planet. To understand Watanabe, you have to understand the world he was living in. Japan has a word with no real equivalent in English: Karoshi, death from overwork. Not a metaphor, a legal category. People die from it, and Japan publishes a government report on it every year. This is a country where 80, 90, even 100-hour work weeks are not exceptional. For certain industries, law, finance, media, this is just the baseline, and the culture around those hours is what makes it different from anywhere else. When you enter a Japanese company, the hierarchy is everything. Your boss does not just manage your workload, they shape your future. Your promotions, your standing in the room. Saying no, even to something unreasonable, is not really an option. The culture has a name for causing that kind of friction: meiwaku, being a burden, disrupting the harmony. It is one of the worst things you can be. So what do you do with that anger? What do you do when someone at work treats you badly for a long time and every structure around you says, absorb it, don't make a scene, come back tomorrow? You compress it, and you keep compressing it. Japan passed its first law specifically against workplace power harassment in 2019, which means it took until 2019 to officially acknowledge that using your rank to humiliate someone below you was wrong. That law exists because the behavior was everywhere, and almost no one leaves. Quitting is seen as failure. Staying in a job that is hurting you is not just common, it's expected. The social cost of walking away is often higher than the personal cost of staying. When you seal a pressure system with no valve, no exit, no complaint, no way to say this is wrong, it does not stay stable forever. Most of the time it collapses inward. Suicide rates among middle-aged Japanese men remain amongst the highest in the developed world. Depression is massively underreported because seeking help is still seen as weakness. But sometimes, rarely, and catastrophically, it goes the other direction. Watanabe Reito was 50 years old. He had probably been inside the system for decades. And one Tuesday morning in July, with 3 knives in a backpack, he made a decision that ended one life and destroyed another. The people of ancient Japan already had a name for this. In Japanese folklore, there is a creature called gashadokuro, a giant skeleton, 15 times the height of a man, assembled from the bones of people who died with unsatisfying grudges. People who were worked to nothing, who starved, who gave everything and received nothing back. Their rage did not disappear when they died. It accumulated, it fused together, bone by bone, until it became something could not be ignored. The gashadokuro wanders at night. It bites off the heads of anyone it finds, and the only warning, the only sign it is near is a ringing in your ears. Ancient Japanese people were not describing a literal skeleton, they were describing something real. The idea that silent suffering, when denied long enough, does not stay silent. It gathers, it finds a shape, and eventually it cannot be compressed anymore. They were not just ghost stories told around fires for entertainment. They were admissions, a cultural acknowledgement that when you deny people dignity, when you grind them down with no exit, no voice, no relief, that energy does not dissolve. It builds into something the whole room will eventually feel. Thousands of years ago, the people of this country looked at suffering and said, "This has consequences. This leaves a mark on the world." They wrote that warning into their mythology, into their monsters, into the stories they told their children. And then, somehow, the same civilization built one of the most suffocating work cultures on Earth. On the 31st floor of a landmark tower in Ikebukuro, on a Tuesday morning in July, a man named Watanabe sat on his desk. For the last time, he had reached his limit, and a 30-year-old named Yoshino never went home. The skeleton keeps building, we just keep handing it more bones, and we keep acting surprised when it starts to walk. Honestly, after hearing cases like this, I don't really want to work in Japan. And that's one of the reasons why I work so hard on this YouTube channel, to basically make it work so I never have to find a job in Japan and endure the same things that so many people in this country have to endure. So to help me out with this goal, right now, please like the video and subscribe. My goal is to make this channel go to 1,000 subscribers, and every subscriber counts. I heard that Japan is very strict, and I know that from my own school how strict and stuck up people can actually be here. There are so many people in my own school that are very stuck up, that treat even the school, even just a fun project, making a fun game in Unity, as a job, and they have this strict hierarchy system where they're the boss and they basically decide everything and you just have to be submissive and basically take it. Honestly, I never really liked the system, and for me, making games is just for fun, because let's be real, making games is just that. You play games for fun. So why shouldn't making them also be fun? It doesn't make sense, right? But here, Japanese people are for some reason really stuck up. Even at my school, the teachers and other students are very stuck up. They have this system ingrained into them. And honestly, in my opinion, they're kind of like NPCs. They just follow what other people tell them to follow. It's kind of like a circle where their superiors basically hit them, so they start hitting other people. And the cycle basically repeats and repeats over and over again and again. It doesn't really stop until there's one person who just basically doesn't give a fuck and just tries to be free. Let me know in the comments what you think about this topic. Let me know your own experiences in Japan. And like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.